According to the 1991 census, India's scheduled tribes represent 8.08% of the country's population and are spread across the country mainly in the forest and hilly regions. The essential characteristics of these communities are their primitive traits, geographical isolation, distinctive culture, and shyness from contact with other communities. The founding fathers of the Indian Constitution were aware of their problems and special provisions were made for their protection and development. A new Ministry of Tribal Affairs was set up under a union minister in October 1999 with a view to give more focused attention to the development of the tribes. The programs and schemes of this ministry are intended to support and supplement the efforts of other central ministries, state governments, UT administrations, and voluntary organizations through financial assistance. Manipur, literally meaning a jewel land, is nestled deep in a lush green corner of northeast India. Ringed by blue hills with an oval-shaped valley at the center, it's rich in art and tradition, lying on a melting pot of culture, presenting an ethnic mosaic of about 29 hill tribes and the valley-based Meithis. The tribes are further grouped as Nagas and non-Nagas. Ethnically and geographically, the Zeliangrong Tribe are an ancient people who live in the western and northwestern part of Manipur state, concentrating in the district of Tamenglong. They were earlier known as Kacha Nagas, from the Angami word Ketsa, meaning thick forest. The Zeliangrong Nagas were highlanders living in about 12,000 square kilometers, but after 1891 they spread over Manipur, Assam and the hills of Nagaland, but remained concentrated in Tamenglong area in the western flank of Manipur. They are one of the earliest homogeneous tribes of the area. With exotic costumes and rich folklore, the folk dances of Zeliangrong tribe are captivating, graceful and rhythmic, ranging from ritualistic, recreational to temporal. The composite structure of the Zeliangrong tribe is mostly made of the Zingmais, Lingmais, Rongmais and Pinmais. Sharing cultural traditions, the only difference between these tribes is in dialect and the color patterns of their costumes. This tribe has primarily been agriculturist and their staple food is rice and meat.
Many villages, they have traditional maibas and medicine men. They take care of their health. Otherwise, you see, if we think in terms of other tribes in the mainland, like Andhra Pradesh, where I've been, and Mysore, where I've been, I think people are very much healthier in this place.
Women play an important role in the Zeliangrong tribal society. Every aspect of economic activity falls in the hands of the women folk, which include household chores to agricultural activities and rearing animals. It is also the duty of the women to supply clothing to her family members by weaving their traditional costumes. The Zeliangrong women are diligent and laborious and bear their responsibilities happily. Though with the advance of education, the women of this tribe have moved ahead, gaining knowledge and employment in other parts of the country, yet their empowerment with upgradation of their skills is one of the issues to be addressed urgently. This determined Zeliangrong tribe has always been wary of foreign intrusions and has fought with national leaders during the freedom struggle against the British.
This Zeliangrong tribe were the first tribal group who had fought against the British. Jadonang from this Puilon village he rose against the British and he was hanged in 1939. Then the leadership was taken up by Rani Gaidilo again, who had come in contact with the Mahatma Gandhi, and he fought against the British. So maybe because of the lack of education, the movement cannot have really come into the national focus. But if you look at any tribal group who has really gone against the British, is the Zeliangrong people.
The Zeliangrong tribe underwent major cultural changes in the early 20th century. Gonway, since when has there been major changes in the social and economic life of the Zeliangrong tribe?
The change of this traditional society takes place with the coming of the Christianity. Then, the British administration also takes place here, and then this subdivision office was set up in 1918. Then, since then, changes takes place because the traditional society has come in contact with the other culture, is one point. Then along with that, a new world view also takes place because of the spirit of Christianity. The traditional belief and then Christianity. Christianity brought about the outside influence. Mainly, they put emphasis on the education. Then when people get educated, they come in contact with the other world, and then more and more influence is brought about. So in the process, the traditional society also breaks down, because Christian tenet also say that whatever is traditional is bad in the initial stage. Of course, now that has been reviewed very much. Administration spreading to this part, diversification of employment also takes place. People go out, and then socio-economic life also get changed. Beliefs also changes, and then the unity and then interaction between villages also takes place. Otherwise, the village was on their own. Everyone was fighting with the other village. So, with the coming of the Christianity as well as with the administration, British administration, which was further accelerated after the independence, a lot of changes has taken place. But the crowds of the people of this place has been that the development has not been up to the expectation. One having said, the implementation has been not up to the mark.
With significant economic and educational changes, the Zeliangrong tribe has in the last 50 years moved closer towards a modern society. A society which previously was unaware of everyday amenities like soap and cooking oil, shops and roads, and roofed houses, today has them as an integral part of their daily life. Mr. Charai, can you tell me, in the last 50 years, what has been the economic development in this area?
Trace of modern development is definitely the fruit of the last 50 years or after independence, effectively. So anything that is the development is there. Whether it's satisfactory or not, that besides, any development is the fruit of post-independence. The change and the development 50 years and now, by any standard, is very, very dramatic. The law and order situation has not been very good. Disturbance has been there in one form or the other. Though it has improved a little bit in the last few months, I would say. But definitely it's not really conducive for proper and hinder-free development. I mean, that development, this law and order situation has taken a toll on the development. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Are all the villages electrified, and what is the position of the electricity here?
In this Tamenglong district, which is of course mainly inhabited by the Zeliangrong tribe, Naga tribe, the reality is that the power department says something else, but actually it's only about 50% of electrification. Because quite a few villages, though they have been electrified at one stage or the other, it's as good as not having, because of very, very poor maintenance.
So do you have any project in mind?
In fact, one of them is coming up, for which the survey work is almost over for compensation and the area to be covered. That is a project being taken up by NHPC, National Hydro Power Corporation, and it's been taken up in Nungba subdivision. It's called Loktak Downstream Hydroelectric Project. So this is for about 90 megawatt project, and within 3.5 to 4 years they should be able to complete once everything is in place, and that will do a lot of good, because today the peak requirement of this district is 2.47 megawatt only. So
Would you have surplus?
too much. In fact, no, the need of the district will maybe 5 to 10 years down the line, maybe about 5 megawatt. But the fact is that many of the places we need to further electrify.
Economic development is the basis of any successful society, and considering the hilly area and climate, forest-based industries are being encouraged to provide gainful employment to the Zeliangrong people. Plantations of bananas and the widely consumed pan patta are becoming popular. The Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation TriFed was set up by the Government of India in its efforts to provide marketing assistance and remunerative prices to the tribals for their forest produce and wean away exploitative private traders. Exquisite teakwood, which grows easily in this climate, have been specially chosen to grow here in plantations. Another upcoming industry is that of the tea plantations, whose commercial scale is new to the Zeliangrong people, who otherwise grew them only for self-consumption. Interestingly, the Tamenglong tea is one of the most expensive teas in the international market. In the larger interest of the Zeliangrong tribe, one major industry which could contribute significantly in further development of this community inhabiting hilly areas is tourism. For hills are the most preferred spots for relaxation owing to its climate, unpolluted air, proximity to nature, and fascination for the living styles of the tribal people. The lush green valleys of Tamenglong district is an ideal place for the tourist. A concrete tourism policy with a master plan which involves the participation of the villagers needs to be drawn, creating infrastructure with the help of the government and private sector by raising hotels, restaurants, roads, trekking facilities, game and entertainment parks, and other tourist infrastructure. Creation of tourist villages with modern facilities would lead to the preservation of the ancient villages, a rich part of their heritage. The picturesque views of Tamenglong district with its fertile soils, forests, abundant rainfall, dust-free environment, moderate cool climate, resounding music of waterfalls give it the essential ingredients for a successful tourist industry. The Zeliangrong people hold an extra advantage to attract tourists as they are friendly, hospitable, and simple natured. Tourist related industries such as that of souvenirs, of tribal houses, costumes, jewelry, etc., would lead to employment generation. Dance and food festivals and other such organized tourism is bound to increase interaction between the Zeliangrong people and people from the other parts of the country and would help in the development and preservation of their heritage, which may otherwise become extinct with the growing modernity. To start with, package tours of picnickers and campers from nearby states and the holding of national level festivals are likely to automatically bring in transporters, hoteliers, traders, and other tourist related service industry. But with the transition towards a modern community, the Zeliangrong tribe has also made initiatives to preserve its traditions and heritage.
See, when Christianity came here, the anything traditional was considered bad. So, cultural aspect was given low priority, and then adapting of the culture which is outside culture, let us say the aping the West, has taken place. But I think now in the early 80s or 90s, there has been the realization that the cultural revival is the need of the hour. So we can see more and more people putting on the traditional dress, and then even the way of worship now is being converted into the traditional tune like that, although the theological aspect remain the same. So with the modernization, I think cultural aspect will be maintained. Moreover, the people here, not only in Tamenglong but for the whole of Northeast, are very conscious about their identity. So that keeping up with the traditional way of life with the modernization, I think they will survive and they will go on well.
And this tribe has been able to integrate more in the national mainstream. Do you think there has been more interaction with the people of the other parts of the country?
Since Zeliangrong people live in the most remote places, education come late. And then since education come late, we have not made much progress. But however, of late, from Tamenglong alone, 2 of us are in the IS, and then about 9 in the central services. I got into the IS in 1983. After that, there has been a lot of people coming up, and then people who have gone out of the country and then doing business even in London are also there. And then I think our people has a bright future, because even in the school level, the school from Tamenglong, they are doing exceedingly well, in spite of the fact that they are staying in far off places.
Better communication and education have accelerated the process of integration of the Zeliangrong tribe into the national mainstream.
Do you think that bit of change in people's attitude and broadening of their views would make it much more easier for them to integrate in the mainstream?
I'm sure that it does. It does, and it's it's developing towards that. It's moving towards that. Though one may not be happy with the pace, but I think that's okay, because for any the nation building is such a time-taken thing. 40, 50 years, maybe it's not enough for really come to that level. But I'm sure that today, comparing to 20 years back and now, the people are definitely more attuned to, being a part of the nation and more open towards that. But further opening of and broadening of their views and minds will help. And also here, I would just want to add that it's not only the people from here, but even from the mainland, they really need to rise in the level of the understanding and consciousness of the people, particularly in the Northeast. So I think it's two ways. The process is two ways, which perhaps we need to really speed it up, yes.
Unlike many other tribes of India, this Zeliangrong tribe is much healthier and has done well in the field of education, economic and social development in terms of greater interaction with the mainstream is of vital importance to this Naga tribe.